Sarge, why you always gotta talk about motorcycling? Sarge, why you don't never talk about nothing else? Look here, man. If you gonna do all that crying, what the baby gonna do? Yo, Sarge, I thought you were an outlaw. I am. I'm just smooth with it. Dear Lord, thank you for waking us up this morning. Lord, thank you for our family and our friends. Thank you for our health and our wealth. And if, Lord, if I can bother you with just one favor, can you please help the Jacksonville Jaguars make it to the Super Bowl in 2024? Amen.
This is the Mileage Bully, the Moto Mob CEO, and your 2024 Titan. You are now listening to Sarge on the Iron Elite Podcast. Like, share, and subscribe. If you're not listening to the Iron Elite Podcast, what are you really doing? Because we are talking motorcycles over here. You dig?
Good morning, everybody, man. Welcome to the Iron Elite Podcast Show. Happy Monday, man. Get your behind up and get to work. Those motorcycle parts ain't cheap, you dig? I've got a great show for you. I know y'all. Sarge, you got Nurse Tiffany. Oh, man, it's like going to the principal's office. Yeah, man, we're going to talk about being responsible. Yeah, man, we're going to talk about when drinking enough water still ain't enough. The things ain't still going right. We're going to talk about it. We're going to get into the details. Let everybody know we're on. Share it with a friend. Let's go. Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Iron Elite Podcast Show. But before we get started, let's give the Lord a round of applause for waking our dirty butts up this morning. Let's do it. Hey, man, some of y'all did a little too much this weekend. I ain't going to name no names. I'm just going to just leave it right there. But anyway, we're on this morning, man, and we're going to be talking about an important subject today. And this is something I've been noticing lately over the last 3 weeks, man. It is getting extremely hot. All the riders I've seen that'll come across the 10, whether they were coming from Cali or coming from Jacksonville, everybody's saying the same thing. Sarge, man, it's extremely hot out there. I'm like, you ain't seen nothing yet, man. We just started June an hour ago, and it's going to get hotter. But what I have been noticing that some riders are saying, hey, man, I've been hydrating, getting rest, eating properly. But, Sarge, it ain't enough sometimes. And I'm finding that it's even harder to deal with what I have to deal with. So today I asked Nurse Tiffany to come on, a.k.a. Icy, the biker nurse. I asked her to come in this morning, and let's see if we can break this down to get a little bit more understanding of what could possibly be going on with our bodies if that's the situation. So with that being said, family, Nurse Tiffany, how are you this morning?
I'm doing great.
Awesome. So I'm telling you, I'll be making these jokes, but y'all know when Nurse Tiffany come, she finna get you straight. You notice she was drinking water, and your boy Sarge was drinking coffee this morning. Lord, hey, don't give up on me. The Lord ain't done yet. Still need help. But how are you? How's everything, ma'am? What's been going on with you?
I'm doing good. The key is balance. You can do both.
I will do that. I do get up in the morning. First thing I do, and my wife can attest to this, I will put down a bottle of water before I do anything, and then I'll enjoy my coffee. And then even when I'm done with the coffee before going to work, I drink some more water. So, what they say, water does the body good.
Yes.
So let's do this real quick. So Nurse Tiffany, Icy, I noticed something, and I wish he was here. And I think what work kind of blocked him because we're gonna bring him on. So I see him now. Hey, Carl, I just sent you the link. If you can go ahead and dial that up on your phone, and we'll bring you on. I just sent you the link. Uh, and until we get Carl on, because I want Carl to kind of explain and tell his story, can you tell us a little bit about what we're going to be talking about today?
Okay. So as you said, it is really hot out there. A lot of y'all are out there getting it in, getting it in. I love it. And you're doing all some of the things that we've talked about in the different lives and the different posts I've made. So I appreciate your paying attention and allowing me to share. So thank you all for that. But in some cases, like you mentioned, it's just not enough. So what I want to do today is to take a deeper dive and to help you understand why, if you're drinking enough water, if you're eating, if you're resting, if you're doing all of those things, why is it that dehydration is still an issue when you're out there riding? And in general, you don't have to be riding, but this is primarily what we're talking about. So I want to help you to take it to the next level. It's a lot of information. It can be overwhelming, but sometimes it involves taking it to a different level. So that's kind of what we're going to do today.
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. So until I can get him in, as a matter of fact, I forgot that Carl lost his phone. Carl was doing something right. I can't. There we go. Let me see if I can bring him on now. Okay. There we go. What's going on, Marine?
What's up? What's up?
All right. Awesome. Awesome. I got my man Carl in today, Mr. 73 himself.
Good
What's happening?
morning.
Good morning.
How you feeling, sir?
I'm pretty good, man. I'm pretty good.
Hey,
I've been
first-
talking to Nurse Icy this morning already.
Oh, that's what's happening. She ain't tell me all that, man. They don't tell you everything.
That's my new medic, man. That's my new medic.
That's HIPAA.
Hey,
That's
hey,
HIPAA.
man.
That's HIPAA. That's HIPAA.
Every Marine needs a great medical corpsman, man. I'm telling
Yes,
you.
yes.
Hey, they make the world go round. So for those who don't know, this is Mr. 73, and this is family right here. My man Carl. So I'll let you introduce yourself real quick, Carl, if you don't mind.
All right, yeah. Carl, aka the new 73, out of Houston. I ride. I try to ride as much as I can. Love the ground pounding thing. Love being part of the family. I tend to the end. Iron Elite. And I've been through some things. So I went through something recently, and when it comes that time, I'll talk to y'all about it.
For sure. So we're gonna tee this thing up, man, and we're gonna do this. And we got Carl on today because we wanted to be able to talk about a particular thing. And I appreciate you, Carl, for doing this for us, man, because you're gonna help a lot of people out there. You are, man. A lot of people don't know it yet, but you're gonna help a lot of people that don't know they need help with this particular story. And I'll let you tee it up, Carl, if you don't mind, and kind of give us the synopsis of what happened to you. Because you were doing, what was the ride that you were doing?
I was doing 1,000 miles for cancer awareness for my boy Thorough's sister.
Shout out to Thorough, man, and his sister.
Yeah,
Bless her
yeah,
heart.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
that was-
yeah, if you want me to kick it off,
let's do that, brother.
okay. So yeah, early Saturday morning, I pulled out at 2 a.m. So the sun is down and everything, and I thought I packed up. I had the water. I had matter of fact, I actually brought some. I had this, which is nothing but sugar. Well, I guess there's some sugar in it. I had vitamin water, and I had plenty of water. What I thought was the right water, and I'm drinking. I'm chugging it down. I pulled out at 2. I got to Corpus, which was my first stop. Felt good. Went on through Corpus. That's when my phone went non-op, so I bought a new phone. But anyway, I get on the road. Um, Midday. I don't remember what time because I actually had talked to Thorough. I'd stopped because I'd missed a location I was going to, and I told him at that time the temperatures were rising, and it was up in the high 80s, and it's not even 12 o'clock yet. So, but I'm still, I think I'm hydrating. I mean, I'm drinking what I think is good. But about 2ish, I made a stop, and I felt, I didn't feel good. I felt, sluggish, um, clammy to my skin. So I kind of knew something was up, but I'm still in my. I'm thinking, okay, I'm drinking. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna be all right. And then the next time I looked up, it was 92 degrees, and at that point, I had to pull over. I stopped at a convenience store, went inside, and I had an issue where, and Nurse Icy may. So if for me, if my body's like extremely hot and I'm dehydrated, if I go into a cold area, my body literally just it shuts down. So I had to be careful with that. I go inside, and I just go in the bathroom and sit on the toilet just to take in that cool air. And I'm drinking, and at that time I'm just drinking water. And I think at that point though, I think it was a little bit too late because I get back on the bike. I had a 72-mile hop from that location to my next stop. And when I walked into the establishment, the guy said, "Man, you look bad." And he handed me some water. He said, "I usually charge for this, but you need it." He said, "And right over there's a place to sit." And I sat down, drank the water, and I go through my next two stops. And then where the incident happened is when I called Thorough. Actually, Thorough called, I think I called him. I don't remember. He'll be able to tell it in the chat because it was I stopped, taking a picture, that I had to do for my little challenge, sat down, and immediately everything was like wobbly woozy. And I'm like, oh man, here we go. So I laid back. I'm on a bench and I lay back. I got Stir on speakerphone at that time, and he's telling me go to the emergency room. And I'm like, okay, I just need to lay here for a little while. So we agreed. I'm gonna stay there for about an hour. And he had set his timer because he called me at an hour. But I didn't answer the phone because I couldn't. Because when I sat up and stood up, I literally thought I was experiencing vertigo because it was like really, really bad then. So by that time, and now I got Thorough, Reef, and my wife, ER, this, that, and I'm being hard headed. I'll be honest with you because Reef was getting pissed. But my body was literally shutting down on me. Um, damn, I didn't bring my original labs with me, but I can tell you what the numbers were. So by the time my wife had finally gotten to me, she takes me to an ER. My blood sugar, I guess that's what you call it, nurse. I see glucose level, blood sugar, same thing. It was 236. It was 236 at that time. Um, and the doctor was really, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? He wasn't, well, he was nervous because he kept coming in to check. I mean, he was an ER doc. He probably had other people to talk to, but he kept checking on me. And he said, "I'm just worried about your levels, your kidney function." That's the first thing he said. "I'm worried about your kidney function." So he said, "We're going to take you from, just treatment to observation." So they moved me to another room, and I actually stayed there overnight. Um, and they did my labs again midway through. So from 236, it dropped down to the 170s, I think. And then eventually, by the time they let me out, it was 102. So I'm in the green then. But he was still worried about my kidney function. So I go to my doctor I went to her on Tuesday. Labs were pretty good. I still had some, and this is probably attributed to the stress that my kidneys were going through with the dehydration. My urine level, I had my RBC count was kind of high. So I think it was 11 to 13 or something like that. So they, my doctor, she gonna do those again. But hydration, and I learned this, hydration is not just about, I mean, you got to have a balance. And I know Low Key is always talking about it. Nurse Icy's got her, because my wife tagged me in your post you made about that, because just water is just not enough because your body's losing electrolytes. It's losing a lot of your sodium. And so you need to have, so I'm thinking that this water that I had mixed up was just going to be enough. And it's not. There's a, you know, there's some things that go together for it to work properly, so that's what happened.
Was it just one quick question, real quick?
Hmm.
So was it Carl? Was it something else that they found that was
Oh yes,
possibly
yeah,
okay?
yeah. Okay, so one of the things, and I'm glad you brought that back up. One of the things that the doctor kept mentioning why he kept checking was, he said, "Have you ever heard that you're pre-diabetic?" And I had, um, probably two or three times, but I kept telling the doctors, "Hey, I'll get this under control. I'll eat right. I'll exercise more." and I didn't. So this incident brought or another, what's the word I'm looking for here? Um, Underlying issues surfaced because of this incident that could have been more contributory to this incident. Not, knowing that I probably was pre-diabetic and not taking the above level precautionary things to help, take that, because being that when you're pre-diabetic, the reason all that stuff was happening was because stuff was shutting down because of my sugar levels, which I could have, if I've been eating right. That's another thing on the right. I ate summer sausage, crackers. Yeah, go ahead and laugh. Summer sausage, crackers, and M&Ms. That's what I ate.
Hey man, I ain't laughing at you. I'm laughing with
Yeah, okay.
you.
So
I'm
yeah,
laughing with you,
yeah,
man.
knowing, and knowing about, if you've got underlying issues, especially
Yeah,
if you've heard it before, pay attention to that. I mean, as
yeah,
hard headed as that, I'm not, and I don't want anybody. I'm not here to, I'm not a guinea pig or I mean, I'm I'm just trying to be honest with people. I try to be
yeah,
very transparent. We all think that we're immortal, we're gonna live forever,
yeah.
and I know I can be hard headed.
Well,
I have,
I say that also, Carl, because I know the gas station snacks. How many times people grabbing Slim Jims?
right,
How many times I grab Slim Jims? How many times they grab the different things at the gas station, the snacky snacks or the sunflower seeds and all that other type of stuff, and they use that as proper nourishment, and we know better.
yeah,
That's what I'm laughing about because all of us do it.
yeah,
So when I say I'm laughing, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you because we all do it. And
yeah,
hopefully by the end today, we'll all do less of it
yeah.
and do more what Nurse Tiffany has got to talk to us about. I'm
Yeah, because
sorry, you
that
finish your thought, brother. Finish your
no,
thought.
no, no. It just yeah, and I should. I mean, and this is it because like you said, it's convenient, it's easy. That summer sausage was so greasy, man. I mean, I remember wiping my fingers off. I'm like,
Now, now I am laughing at you.
yeah, I'm like, come on, man. I mean, but it feels the void in my sense, and but it wasn't good for me. It was not good at all. And we, as a rider, when you're out there trying to do this, forget if you just sat there on a ride, you have to take care of your body. Because if you don't, the concrete will, or that car, that tree trunk, you know. So and and I'm so thankful. Let me tell you something about this family here. You, uh, Reef, and old low key there. I mean, I appreciate and thorough and all of you. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm just talking about the people that um were involved in this incident because that's this is the most recent incident, but I've had interactions with many of you on just riding. But man, to think about when I was going through this, knowing that my brother, low key was at home with his wife taking care of her, and he was willing to go get my bike and make sure it got back home. He was calling me and he talked to me privately like, man, look, we want you here, we need you here. You said the same thing, so I'm grateful for that. And trust me, Nurse Tiffany gonna stay on my butt. I'm grateful for her because as a professional practitioner, she doesn't have to do this for us. Because people, when you're in position, when you've gone through the training, I do this at work already, but she's here to help the masses, and that's a wonderful thing. So I'm grateful for everybody.
Awesome stuff, man. So, okay, I say if you can break some of this down for us,
Sure.
and maybe describe it how one thing did it caused a chain reaction.
Yeah.
Okay.
So first, thank you for sharing because healthcare can be a very private thing. Um,
Sure, I appreciate you.
however, one barrier that I think we need to kind of break down is to allow ourselves to share a little bit so that we can have these important conversations. So there's a couple of things that I want to kind of touch on based on what I'm hearing from your situation. So the first one is that you've heard that you were possibly pre-diabetic before.
Right.
You've heard that. So one thing that I like is the accountability piece that you just shared with us. So um, I don't know how well any of you understand medical science or nursing science, but it is not an exact science. What we learn in school and various trainings is how the body works in ideal situations. When you learn those ideal situations, then you're able to pick up on changes. You may not always be able to say exactly what it is. You know, sometimes we get caught up into what exactly is happening to me. But basically, what you should be doing is paying attention to the signs because your body, it's a miraculous thing and it will warn you of most things. And so, what I'm hearing is that there were several warnings that were maybe um, not taken as serious because nobody wants to be diabetic. When we hear pre-diabetic, just like you did, we're going to say, hey, doc, I can take care of it. You know, we don't we don't want to claim those things. You know, and I'm all about speaking positive and everything, but sometimes it is what it is. You have to pay attention to those signs. So that's the first thing. Also have these conversations with your providers. Have these conversations with people that are in your corner because one thing that I see a lot is when patients come in the hospital or in the doctor's office, you're only giving your provider a snapshot. I talked to my parents about this. When you go in, always tell that provider how you are on your worst day. Most of the time when you see your provider, you're feeling okay or you probably wouldn't be there. You know, you're just in for a follow-up and they ask you, how you doing? Oh, well, I'm doing fine. But you forget about the 5, 6, or 7 days over the past 3 months where you didn't feel that great. You know, take it a little step further and tell them about all these instances of things that you may experience, like Carl share, because he probably had some days that he didn't feel that well. And he maybe didn't share them or didn't go in as in depth as he needed to with his provider. I'm not trying to beat up on you, but this is the reality. You know, when we go to our doctors, we don't share enough because keep in mind, we sometimes can only help you based on what you share with us.
Exactly.
If you always go to the doctor and you say, oh, doc, I'm feeling fine, and you never tell us about those days where you haven't been fine or that you didn't have a good day, we will never know until something like this happens. So that's the first thing. Always be willing to share. So again, we appreciate you sharing.
Thank you.
Um, so another thing is we've talked a lot about hydration. I think that you had the right mindset and you were doing a lot of the things that we've talked about and that we've shared about. However, you mentioned the right water. Um, so plain water is best. You know, it's easy for me because I am a water drinker. You know, I blame that on my country upbringing. You know, we had well water, good water. So I
We had water hose water.
right, right. So plain water is best. I get it. Sometimes that's a struggle for a lot of people. So you try to improvise, but be mindful at what your substitutions are because you may be getting enough water, but you're also loading up on sugar and you're also loading up on electrolytes that sends your body into an imbalance. Um, I remember the first day of nursing school, the first word we learned was homeostasis. All that means is balance. You know, the body seeks to maintain a balance of most things. So while you may feel like you're taking on good things in excess, it may not be a good thing. So I think part of what Carl was experiencing as well, because he was trying to get all that hydration in, he threw himself into some electrolyte imbalance. So please be mindful of the things that you are taking in um, to get plenty of water. Keep
Okay,
in
so
mind. Go
Okay,
ahead.
now I got a quick question. Okay,
Okay.
so if I understand, are you saying you can take on too many electrolytes or too much
Absolutely.
electrolytes?
Hmm.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Yeah.
let me ask this: was it or could it have been a situation where too much electrolytes and then too much sodium?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Um, some of the signs he mentioned experiencing. Uh, One thing about sodium imbalance, and that's salt, that will throw you into a state of disorientation where you
Mm,
just don't really know quite what's going on.
mm-hmm.
Uh, One of the things that in the hospital, when we have a person that comes in with some sort of confusion or alteration in their mental status, that's one of the first things you check is your sodium level. Um, so that is huge. You
Mm-hmm.
know, when you feel like you're not quite clear, you're not sure what's going on, you
Mm-hmm.
could be experiencing an electrolyte balance. Things like Gatorade. Um, Personally, I don't do Gatorade
Mm-hmm.
because of that sodium content. The lighter or the less sugar formulas, they take care of the sugar content, but you're still getting a lot of those electrolytes.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Things like sodium, potassium, you don't want to mess with those things. That you can really encounter some bad
Okay,
results.
now I'm really getting messed up because I thought okay. All right. Okay, okay, because I was always told potassium is good for cramping up. You
It
know,
is, but
is
too much is not good for your
too
heart.
much. Okay, okay. So it's the again, it's the right blend of
Balance.
everything, the
Yeah.
right balance.
So think of it this way. The best way, honestly, to take in electrolytes is through food.
Okay.
Because what if eating them does, it allows the body to take it through the process. Because one thing that a lot of people don't know, your kidneys do a lot. You know, people think if they're peeing in the toilet, everything's good. Your kidneys do so much as far as regulating all of these amounts of these electrolytes. That's why, Carl was seeing some alterations in his kidney function. His kidney functions were trying to do something with all this stuff. They were really working.
Wow. Wow.
So ingesting your electrolytes and your nutrients allows your body to take them through that process. And when it gets to the kidneys, it takes what it needs and then it eliminates the rest.
Okay. Okay. Now I got questions. Excuse me,
Okay.
because I ain't smart. I got a smart person on here. Okay. So when I think Carl alluded to, maybe the doctor say that that it, if I understood it correctly, did you say, Carl, it was actually starting to do damage to the kidneys or overworking the
Kidneys.
kidneys? It was
Overworking
overworking
my
the
yeah,
kidneys.
yeah, it was overworking my kidneys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Damn it. Okay. I'm gonna try to act like I ain't that dumb. Okay. Okay. So that the fluids, because I thought because always taking on fluids were good for the kidneys to flush them out, but I guess because we were taking the propelled and some of the flavored water, it wasn't having the same effect as just regular water. Am I correct?
Correct. Because all that stuff has a lot of electrolytes in it.
Okay, so if he was just doing regular water, would that would have been would that would have helped the kidney situation, or would it still been in trouble because of the sodium?
Okay. It would have been better.
Hmm.
However, as he shared, and that's kind of my next point, Carl
Okay,
has some other issues going on with the pre-diabetes.
okay,
So that brings in another layer
Hmm.
right.
because as we mentioned, ideally your body, his kidneys would have been able to take care of all of these things. But because he is pre-diabetic, he has an alteration, which a lot of us has. His happens to be diabetes or pre-diabetes. A lot of us have hypertension. You may have lupus. Um, you may have had cancer. All of these things are alterations. so your body doesn't work like it would under normal circumstances. So this is another layer of things that can affect your body's way of using water. You know, if you one thing about water, if you take it in and your body can't use it properly, it becomes excess.
Yeah, yeah, I've heard of
It
that.
ends up
Yeah,
in
yeah, I
places
get
that
what you
we
mean.
don't need it
Yeah, after
because
a
your
while, it
body
just.
can't use
Mhm.
it. So it's all about alteration, things that can affect that ability of the body doing what it's supposed to do, if that makes sense.
Yes, yes.
So, you know, things like diabetes, hypertension, lupus. I notice a lot of awareness rise. That's another topic for another day.
Okay.
But a lot of us have those conditions: lupus, arthritis, allergies, kidney disease. Um, Kidney disease, it's one of those things. If everybody was honest, there's a lot of us that are possibly in one of the earlier stages of kidney disease. There's 4 stages. So, you know, you may have it's still an alteration.
Mhm.
You may never progress past that first stage, but based on your numbers, you may be in an early stage of kidney failure. If you've had cancers, if you've received like radiation and chemotherapy, I
Yeah.
think Carl, you shared that that's in your history as well.
Mm.
So that's
Yes.
another layer. That's another layer of alteration that he always has to be mindful of. A lot of us, we just came out of mental health month. Um, and I'm saying that to say a lot of medicines that some of us may take for anxiety and depression, all of those things can create alteration. So that rolls into my next thing. And I don't really want to intrude on anybody's health if that's not something you're willing to share. But I challenge everybody to go to your medicine cabinet and look at your medicines. And there's lots of medicines that are common, that even some over the counter medicines that can cause issues when it comes to hydration. Um, Things like antihistamines. Everybody's, you know, I take antihistamines daily because I have allergies. That's something simple. We don't think about it, but they can dehydrate you. You know, how many times when we're out riding on the road, we get a stuffy nose? It could just be because we're changing climates or areas, but we run in the convenience store and we grab some Sudafed or Benadryl. Those are two particular medicines that can affect your
Dehyd-
hydration.
they can dehydrate you. Uh,
Yes,
hmm. Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Antidepressants
Mhm.
um, can
Doesn't high blood pressure medicine, doesn't that
absolutely.
dehydrate you as well?
Well, that's the way it works.
Yeah.
It works by removing excess fluid from your
Right.
from your body. So that's kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah.
So if you're diabetic, if you're taking high blood pressure medicine and you go in and grab something for your allergies, you know, you got all of this can cause an alteration. So being mindful of these things, this is something I admit it, I'm guilty of, not to get too graphic, but some of us, when we're out riding, especially, our bowel habits change. We don't use the
Big
bathroom
time.
like we, and
Cause
honestly,
I damn sure don't. You right, that's big time. Cause I'm bougie with that. I can't be stamping at anybody.
and a lot of
Gas
times it's a
station,
pride
yeah.
thing. It
Yeah.
is for me.
I try to hold till I get to the hotel, man. Ain't a good thing. Yeah.
Ain't a
However,
good thing.
what happens sometimes is when I before I leave home, maybe a few days before, we self cleanse.
Right.
We may take a laxative or something. Laxatives, that's the way they work. They remove uh, you know, excess waste from your body using a lot of water.
Water, yeah.
So laxatives can dehydrate you. Um, Fluid medicines. We talked about fluid medicines. You know, a lot of us have vascular disorders to where our fluid just is not removed from the body like it should be. So the doctor may give us a Lasix. or furosemide. That's a common medicine. Or even the doctor may give you a fluid pill that you may take 3 times a week. You know, all of these create alterations in your body's ability to hydrate, rehydrate, and maintain balance. So, this is kind of the meat of what I wanted to talk about today is all of these create alterations. Um, so look in that medicine cabinet, have these conversations with your doctor. Be transparent about what is going on with you and your conditions because nothing that I mentioned is far-fetched.
Mhm.
If people were honest, these are common things that we hear about, but we never link it to dehydration.
Because I'm seeing, and I'm guilty of this too, man. It's just something hardwired in us. When we get out, we're talking yonder, we're talking 1,024 hours. Some even go farther than 1,200, whatever. We wanna ride all day. We've already got it set in our mind. I'll eat at the end of the ride, and I'm starting to change my mindset on that.
Yeah.
And I'm guilty as everybody. I'm starting to slow it down now. But one thing I did notice during the same week, because I think Carl, you and I were both on the road at the same time. You were
Yes, we were.
somewhere in Texas, and
Hmm.
I was coming across the 10, coming from Slidell, from Louisiana.
Right, right.
And brother, it was hotter than the devil's underwear out there. I'm dead serious. PSI going crazy on the tires, just all kind of
Oh
stuff
yeah.
going on. And I'm finding myself. My first thing is I wanted to fight through it because that's just the Marine warrior spirit in me. But eventually, the wife checked in with me and she says, "Okay, how you?" I said, "I think I'm gonna just shut this thing on down." I think I could have made it in, but it was just for some reason I felt, man, you've been out here all day in traffic and construction and those type of things. You got to start learning how to live to fight another day.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I'm seeing that more, and I'm glad Nurse Tiffany is on and speaking to us about that today because it's really changing my mindset. You don't have to get it all in one day. You're out there in those elements for all day long, and I'm starting to get to the point. It it doesn't matter what you're doing to try to combat it as it's going. If your body ain't prepared before it starts, I don't think you can ever catch up unless you just stop and get into an air conditioner controlled climate and give your body a chance to kind of what's the word I'm trying to look for, Nurse Tiffany? Is it rejuvenate? What's the word I'm looking for?
Rehydrate,
Yeah,
rejuvenate.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. It's and man, let me do this real quick. If you guys give me 1 second, man, we've had some great some superstars have come on with us today, man. Pastor Retro, David Bell, Thorough, man. We've had all kind of folks coming on. I even got Kane Fael that's on with us from the West Coast, man. So I appreciate everybody coming on with us today. I know we're talking about one of those subjects that most of us men, we feel like when we start talking about this, we're going to the principal's office. We hate to be talking about the medical stuff. Hey, I'm good, doc. I'm good. Because we just don't want to hear about anything that's going to make us vulnerable, anything that's going to not make us feel like, or make us feel some type of way. But these things are important things. And I appreciate you guys today for coming on and speaking about this. We need to have more of this dialogue because if we each one really teach one the way we supposed to be doing, these things are important. What y'all think about that?
Yeah,
Yep.
for
It's
sure.
just it's facts. It's facts. As a
I appreciate the opportunity to be here, man. I really do.
matter of
Yeah.
fact, I see Retro said that part, Sarge. It's okay to slow it down and break up the trip. It
Yeah.
is so. Let's if you don't mind, Nurse Tiffany, not unless you had something else on that segment.
Yeah. Well, just a couple of
Okay,
other facts related to all of this. Uh,
okay,
Keep in mind also, even if you don't have any of these, let's just say your health is good. There's still always a need to prehydrate, hydrate adequately, just because um, if you're, let's just say mostly everybody is overweight according to their BMI. If you're more than what they say you should be, then keep in mind that your body is 50 to 60% water. That's about 45 quarts for some of you numbers folks. So if you're not maintaining that amount, if you could line up 45 quarts, that is the equivalent to the amount of water that should be in your body to maintain that
That's a lot
balance.
of water.
That's a lot
That's a
of
lot of
water.
water. Yeah.
So if you're not drinking any water, then you know you're kind of always starting behind the eight ball. Um, Keep in mind if you're overweight, that is affected because especially if you have a high fat content, you know, some of us are a little more fluffy than others. That's okay. But just keep in mind, fat
But
contains.
I'm working on it, man. I'm working on it. Hey, God ain't finished with me, dang it. I'm gonna be in the Get Fine program this summer. I'm telling you that now.
So, but
For
fat
sure.
contains less water than lean or muscle. And some of you gym folks, you understand what I'm talking about. The leaner the tissue, the more water it has.
Thorough said, "What's BMI?"
Body mass
That's
index
index.
is
There it
based
is.
it's based on your weight, your height, and
Height.
your age, where you
Okay.
should be.
Okay.
And most of us are not.
Hey,
Most of us are not.
for
I
us
don't know where
old
they got
people,
them numbers
so for
from.
us old people, we need to be skinny.
Yeah,
We just need to be
yeah.
skinny. Yeah. For
100.
sure.
225 and they call me
Yeah.
obese. I'm at
Yeah.
225 and they say I'm obese.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure. Hey, man. Hey, and I think a lot of times us folks of color, especially from the South, we victims to what we eat, what we grew up
Exactly.
eating.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And
Yeah.
men, their demands or what they need to adequately hydrate is more than women. That's just because, that's just due to the makeup of our genetics or our bodies. Um, so those are just some facts that can affect anybody, whether you have health alterations or own any of these medications. That goes for anybody.
Mm.
So just keep those facts in mind as well.
Well, Low Key said he alternates water with electrolytes on a long ride. He drinks 16 ounces bottled water between each gas stops. Is that good to do like a Pedialyte one time and then a water the next time, or?
There is a balance. I mean,
Mhm.
he probably has found what works for him.
It's gonna be different. Yeah, that's true.
Hey,
Yeah, that's another thing,
hey,
guys.
Thorough just say I'm fat, man. We trying to be serious, man. Y'all so immature.
David, I agree with you, David.
Yeah,
I be a
hey,
crackhead. I look like a crack addict. I
me
agree,
too.
man.
But anyway, man, I'm losing my focus, man. I'm losing my focus playing with y'all, man. Hey,
No, but
so
what
go ahead, Carl. Go ahead.
one of the points I'm sure I think Tiffany was about to make this, and I say this as a cancer survivor. Everybody's treatment is different. So what works for Leroy, the way he drinks, may not work for me. You have to find what works for you. That's the hard thing to do because just listening, like you were saying, Sarge, for me, I push Thorough had to tell me, man, you've done enough.
Mm-hmm.
Because I wanted to try to finish that ride. Because
Mm-hmm.
I had that window of
Mm-hmm.
hours. He was like, man, shut it down. I need you to go to
Yes.
the ER. But that mental state, and I was going to say to you, how are you doing with it? Because it's a challenge for me knowing I had this mission. That Marine Corps, I had a
Oh yeah.
mission, and so I felt like I failed. And so I'm trying to, and it's not. I'm not trying to be Superman. It's just a mentality. Everybody has certain things that your operation, the way
It's some
you operate.
hardwired stuff in you, man.
Yeah,
It's
it's some
taught to
hard.
you.
I'm
It's
60
taught when
years
you're
old, man.
young, but
Yeah,
what you forget is when you get old, you can't
yeah.
still
You
always
can't
do.
do that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
You got to
hard.
be a little wiser. We can't always sprint no more. Sometimes we
Right.
just need to jog over
Jog.
to where we're
Slow
going.
it
Yeah,
down.
yeah.
Walk a block. No, walk 3 blocks. Run 1 block. That's what I'm.
That part, sir.
So,
Yeah,
but no, yeah, it's what works, and that's the thing. Sometimes for me, I'm trying to do what somebody else does, but what worked for them may not work for me. I may
facts.
need, 2 bottles of water every other stop or every,
Yes.
and in between. So, and I've learned this about Pedialyte. You can drink too much of it too.
Mm.
Go ahead.
What you got,
That
Nurse
is just,
Tiffany?
I'm just looking at the comments. That was another huge point. Um, Hydration, pre-hydration. One of the last posts I made, it
Mm-hmm.
included a little section on pre-hydration. And usually that's going to be 3 to 5, 4 to 6 days before your ride, especially if you're a person that is that this is a challenge for you. Um, yeah, 4 to 5 days. Somebody else's might be 3 to 5 days, but that's another thing that I'm not seeing a whole lot. Not saying that you're not doing it, but I'm not seeing that is the preparation. Just like we prepare our bikes. I think we mentioned this on a previous live. We prepare our bikes days, weeks before, all to only get 2 to 3 hours of sleep the night before.
Facts.
That's really out of balance. Same
Mm-hmm.
same principle here. you know, we pack all this stuff on our bikes. We got our snack packs, we got our, everything, but we eat poorly and don't drink a lot days before. So just take this a step further. When you're preparing, um, what I do personally is I pack in phases. And one particular day, I may only focus on medications, health stuff, and snacks or whatever. I dedicate some time to that. Then another day I move on to bike stuff and then clothes. So incorporate this into your routine. And also when you go to the doctor, some of us plan our rides months ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Schedule you a doctor's visit. If you can't go in, do a telehealth visit. A lot of us
Mm-hmm.
have access to that. Talk to them about your specific issues. Hey, this is what I'm going to do. A lot of people don't even share with their providers that they ride a motorcycle.
Mm.
I do. And usually that's one of the first things that we talk about when I go. It's like, okay, well, where you been since I saw you last? Or where are you going?
Mm.
We have to include this health stuff in with our preparation. Other fluids. Again, I'm a water drinker.
Yeah, I
Water's.
was thinking. I don't think there's no better fluid than water.
There was a post that I made. It's been a while. It's in the group, but you can just search hashtag biker nurse icy, and there was a billboard that showed you the sugar content in some of the most common drinks that we pick up when we might go in a convenience store. A lot of that stuff out there is just going to have a lot of sugar, and not to get too involved, but it's a great market. It's great for marketing.
Yeah.
Because if you drink something, just hear me out for a minute. If you drink something and it makes you feel good, you're going to go buy it again. But sugar gives you a false high.
True.
So any of these feel good drinks that are out there, it's full of sugar more times than not. So I would say stay away from it.
David Bell had to throw that jab in there. All right, man. I'm tired of y'all always picking on me. I don't do it no more.
I've done a post, but we haven't done
with the energy drinks and their effects.
I've done a post on energy drinks.
The
title of it is "What's in Your Cup Holder." Yeah,
hey, they're the devil, man. I used to fight guilty. I used to fight. I make sure at least 1 a.m. getting out the gate because I needed the jilt, and then I would have water for the rest of the day, and I never did more than 1 getting out in the morning. But I do understand, and as I grow older, you understand. Hey, man, you just can't play with it. The best thing to give you a jilt coming out the gate in the morning is a good night rest. That's the best thing to get a good jilt and just keep hydrating, because for whatever that energy drink gives you, it's gonna take back from you tenfold.
Or get it from your foods. There's a lots of foods that contain a large amount of water. They contain a balance of the sugars. They are natural energy sources.
So what do you think about, since he brought that up, let's talk about, what about 5-hour energies, the little small, those things that jack you up?
I've never seen a diet. I've never seen any sort of medical recommendation that includes energy drinks, 5 hour energies, none of that. I've never seen it.
So I'm assuming 5 hour energies and those things as well dehydrate you.
They can, but you be wary. At first when they came out, it was just 5 hour energy. Have you noticed now that they have a non-sugar
Yeah,
one?
yeah, I've
I mean,
seen it.
that's a dead giveaway.
Hmm. Eh,
Anything that gives you a low sugar option, I,
you
I mean,
already know what time it is.
yeah,
Now,
it's
I have seen some things that they say that are natural. I think it's one that comes in a white and pink bottle. They're trying to tell you that it's all natural.
um
Uh, I don't want to
I
put nobody
like
on
body
blast.
armor because it's made with coconut water.
Hmm.
Those are pretty good. Um, that's my preference if I'm going to do a sort of electrolyte drink.
Hmm.
Some of the electrolyte packets are okay, but again, we're talking about excess. If that's all
So
you're
so
drinking, it's not going to be good.
so does adult Pedialyte? Does that have sugar in it?
Yes, yes, you can get Pedialyte with no sugar. Yes, so yeah.
Damn it, man! You just got to go to Bucky's to get everything now. You can't even stop at no regular gas station no more. No Chevron,
No,
Texas. You got to go to Bucky's or you got to go to
Bucky's and took it
Love's.
all, man. Bucky's
Yeah,
and
if
took
you
it
don't go to
all.
Bucky's and Love, man, I'm just go ahead and put in the I exit in your gas GPS to go. Don't stop nowhere except Love's and Bucky's, because it seems like every other gas station is filled with nothing but junk,
And
chips, snacks, and sugar drinks. Am I correct? It
and Nurse
just
Tiffany, I know one of the things I try to stay away from when I'm reading labels now is aspartame.
Hmm.
I try to stay away from any, and like one of the reasons I like Propel is it does not contain aspartame. So that's one of the reasons. But I know like I was using sugar-free Country Time, lemonade, and all that aspartame. I posted recently on my personal page that I was looking for some more. I had bought 4 12 packs of Barks Zero Coke.
Beer.
I mean root beer, but found out it has aspartame. So I can't have my
okay.
root
School your
beer
boy up.
Cokes no
What's
more.
what's aspartame? What's that?
It's a sugar supplement. It's a sugar replacement that they put into foods and these drink mixes that gives it a sugar taste, but it's really not good for you. I mean, it's my doctor even told me it kidney functions, liver. I think it's kidney functions that it affects mostly. And being my state, I definitely need to stay away from it. So
Right.
So no, go ahead, Nurse Tiffany, go ahead.
Well, I'm just yes, he's correct.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Well, your boy got. I got another question. Okay, I got a question, and hopefully you I-10 to the end, folks. Let's get ready to get it in. Oh, by the way, I've got a few coming in from Clean, Texas today, and I got a few coming in next week. But for those kind of folks, let's say, okay, I'm on the highway, and these things are starting. What's the early stages? Matter of fact, I let Carl hit me with this. What's the early stages, bro, when you start noticing, okay, things ain't looking too hot here? What did you start feeling?
the dryness of my skin. That was the first telltale sign for me was the dryness of my skin. I mean, they always tell you about the pinch test. If you pinch and it stays up, you're dehydrated. If it goes back down, but I mean, I can feel it. I mean, you should know your body. And I knew, I'm like, okay,
So
here we go.
it was just dry. Now
It
this
was just
point, it was
dry.
like
Yeah.
like
It
a
was just dry.
microwave, like you've been in a
Yeah.
microwave.
Yeah. And the thing is that the mouth was still moist. So I'm thinking, because that's another, I'd be like, okay, if this starts to get dry, then I'm really bad. But that was okay. But I'm like, man, this ain't, I kind of, but again, I'm gonna push it a little further because I want to get down this
Damn it,
road.
I do it all the time, man.
Yeah, I do it
You're
all the
so
time,
right.
man. I
Yeah,
do it all the time. So,
we all do. Yeah.
yeah, and that's the beautiful thing about this particular ride was Thorough was bro was on me, man. He knew where I was, and that's another thing that people on the Iron Elite Challenge may not understand why you have them give them your glimpse or something, their glimpse or something, is that you can follow them. You know the difference between a 5 minute stop because they getting gas or using the restroom versus man, you ain't moved in 25 minutes. Something might be
Mhm.
wrong. So I know some people may not understand that, but it's a great thing. I mean, my phone, I have Glimpse now and it's part of my text messaging. But I tell people that that can be a lifesaver, man. Because like thorough reef had called thorough, man. Call ain't moved in a while. What's going on? So, but yeah, because
Oh, they all
you
called,
want to,
man.
yeah,
Brother, I'm telling you, low key called me about you.
yeah,
I'm
appreciate it,
sitting in
man.
Bucky's. I'm sitting in Bucky's. He telling me about you. So we all in that network
Yeah,
together.
yeah, man.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, that you got to know your body. You got to know those telltale signs, and it's hard. But like it's hard to ignore. You want a pound. Don't get me wrong. We all know we want a pound. That's why we do this thing. But and I got to stop being a hardhead. I mean,
Mhm.
and it's easy to say, but you got to start putting it into practice. So, I'm grateful. I mean, I got my angels, you,
Mhm.
low key, thorough, everybody, but
Mhm.
now I'm gonna add Nurse Tiffany to that list. I mean, I'm adding Nurse
Yeah,
Tiffany because
yeah.
she knows, she knows what's going on, and she said a great thing. And now, when I was going through cancer, my doctor will tell you, my oncologist will tell you, I went into every appointment with because my cycle for my treatment was I had a 21-day. My chemo was called cisplatin, and it's one of the most brutal chemos you can take. It's a 21-day cycle. For the previous 20 days, I could tell her everything about how I felt when I woke up, how I felt an hour later. But now, when you start to feeling good, you kind of dial that down a bit. But now, when you're talking to your doctor, you got to give them everything. They can't help you. Like even my primary, I gave her everything, and she was like, I can, I mean, it's HIPAA, but I mean, if I share with you, that's my own business.
Mhm.
But she was like, okay, Carl, we know we've been through this before, so I'm not worried about that right now. But I tell her everything. She brought up what Tiffany said. She said, Carl, from now on, because she's put me on a yearly visit now. She said, but from now on, if you're gonna take one of these long rides, you call my office and you tell them you need an appointment with me. I'll see you. She said, because
Get
I
you.
want to check you out before you go. So that's something
Mhm.
that you might want to do. If you have those ailments, just get a good checkup with your doctor before you get out there on that road, man.
Well, let's do this because I can't keep everybody all day. I know
Yeah,
everybody
yeah,
got day jobs and stuff.
One more
yeah.
So
point, if I may. One more
no,
point.
no, I'm gonna give it over to you now. I'm gonna
Oh,
give it over to you now. So
okay. Good
along
stuff.
with your thought that you've got right now, also, Nurse Tiffany, give us if we can sum this up and give us some real good, you know, tools that we can take with us for the next ride on preventive maintenance so we don't have a situation that we might, end up having to stop and have to go to the hospital.
Okay. So the extra point I wanted to make is Carl mentioned that a lot of the signs you will see that you can see them in your skin. Keep in mind, everybody, the skin is the body's largest organ. A lot of people don't think of skin as an organ, and it helps you to balance and a lot of your water content. So keep that in mind. A lot of the signs you will see are manifested in your skin. Could be as easy as dryness or ashiness. When you start to see some of those other signs that Carl experienced, it a lot of times it's too late. You're really, really getting into dangerous territory. So don't pay attention to your skin and mucous membranes. That's your lips, your mouth, your nose, and your eyes. Okay, so pay attention to those. So just to kind of sum it all up, you guys.
But let me ask this: what was the next stage to what Carl was experiencing? Was it maybe a coma?
Well, he could have went into a diabetic coma if his
Yeah.
blood sugar would have continued to climb.
Okay. Okay.
Um, he was in the 200s, I think he said, which may not seem like a lot. However, for somebody that's not technically a diabetic, that can be a lot. Now, if you're a diabetic, if you can get up to 500, 600. I've seen unreadable. You don't ever want to get to that point. So 200 for him was pretty significant because he's not technically a diabetic. So he was really bordering on, and the fact that he walked into when he said he was standing up and he was kind of disoriented, that's a pretty late sign. I mean, he could have just kind of went down, and
Yeah, that's what the doctor was telling me. He's like, you could have
depending
just
on,
went out. Yeah, you could have just
and
went out
depending
while
on where
riding.
you, yeah,
Yeah,
he could have went out while riding, or he could have
yeah.
been in the area where there was nobody around. So, thankfully he was able to get some help. So glad of that above all. Um, but just to kind of sum this thing up, y'all, the main thing, the best thing I can tell you is please think about these things when you are preparing. I think we got the preparation mindset because we are preparing to the max for these rides. We are preparing. So kudos to all of you, but think about your body as the top priority. You know, these bikes are not going to ride themselves. so
Facts.
so you have to include this in your planning. Also, pre-hydrate. Pre-hydrate. This is days before. Because one thing about education and teaching on medical things, this is not just to get you or take care of things of the here and now. This is to help us make healthier lifestyle changes. A lot of this is not going to be successful if we don't incorporate it into our daily routines. One day at a time, work on different things one thing at a time. uh, be transparent with your providers. um, be very transparent because again, we don't have a lot to go on until you end up in the ER with all of these things wrong. Then we can say, oh, well, you got this, or you didn't do this, or you didn't do this, or you didn't do this. What we want to do is prepare you and equip you with the knowledge to not end up in these situations. So preparation, um, be transparent with your providers, and honestly listen to your body. The body is a miraculous thing. It will do a lot to try to self correct. A lot of times when you see signs, you have bypassed all of those things that the body has tried to do. And not to beat up on Carl, but I appreciate him so much for being transparent because it allows us to educate. You know, he knows the things that he probably should have done months ago, but here we are. We're not trying to beat up on anybody, but
No,
this,
because it could, no, I tell you, there's two types of us out there. There's Carl who got caught, and the rest of us we ain't got caught yet.
yeah.
So we hopefully we'll learn from that lesson so we don't get caught because there are going to be future people get caught in the future. I hate to say it, but is that facts?
That is
There's going
facts.
to be
And
people get caught.
yeah,
Yeah,
and we hope that you get a warning. You may not get a warning. We hope that you do, but we want to try to prevent you even get to that point. And so that's kind of how I wanted to sum it up. And you guys, health is something that we tend to neglect because we don't want to think about it until it's time. So I'll say that to mean be prepared, stay safe, stay well. Go get your safety kit, you guys. You won't need it till you need it.
yeah.
However,
And
don't
I
get
apologize. I'm gonna get the safety kits in the link. I forgot to do that. I am gonna take care of that as soon as the show is over. So
yeah.
if you don't mind, can you give us the plug on the link on that? The safety kits, how
Um,
we can go about getting it. But I will put in the link
I
after this
think
is
I
over.
sent it to you. It's just a Google Doc. It has the
Okay.
prices in there.
Okay.
Less shipping, but when you
Okay.
reach out to me, it's about $10 to ship a kit.
Hmm.
Thanks to the one that have already gotten their kits.
I will
But
get that link out there to everybody.
it's just to try to streamline because a lot of people have asked, what do you carry? What do I need? So I've tried to streamline that for you guys, to give you something to manage those minor things so they don't become bigger issues. It's all about being prepared and prevention.
I'm sorry, you getting ready to say something else?
No, I was reading the
Oh,
comments.
oh, okay. You talking about the one that low key had?
Yeah, I
The
have.
one,
Yes, he did get
yeah,
his kit,
yeah. Low key don't play around, man. He played no games with this thing, man.
and
That's
So
an
he said,
accountant mentality he's got.
because
"Yeah,
I've got to get Carl back to work. Carl, do you have any final words for us? Anything that you want to leave us with?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, what Nurse Tiffany and yourself. I mean, for one, pay attention to your body. Two, uh, especially for us men, sometimes you got to dial it back. I know we always get out there and we want to pound and we want to pound hard, but got to listen to your body. I need to get that kit. So Nurse Tiffany be looking for, I'll be finding out, provide me with the link in our message that we talking. And,
Okay.
I appreciate everybody, but, let's ride and share that each one teach one. We got to, and that's why I was transparent. Hopefully this will help somebody. And prayerfully, it'll help me from not being
Well,
in this situation
hey, brother,
again.
you just helped me. I'm telling you, you just helped
Yeah,
me.
so
Yeah.
I appreciate the opportunity to come on and do this. So and then Sarge, again, great stuff that you put out there, man. Thank you so much. And whenever I can, chime in, I'm here. So thank you guys.
Hey, for sure, brother. You
Thank
fam.
you.
You the I-10 to the end. I-10 to the end alumni, man. You fam, bro. Hey,
Yeah,
my ambassadors, man. I appreciate you so much.
appreciate it. Yes, sir.
Hey, well, Carl, we're gonna let you get on back to work, man, because we know you got bills to pay.
Yeah,
So,
I got them tickets popping in. So that's why my
hey, for
eyes keep
sure.
going over here.
All right, my
Hi,
brother. Much
Tiffany.
love to you.
Same here. Same here. Y'all
For
take
sure.
care now.
Peace. Okay, and Nurse Tiffany, any last words? Anything that you want to leave us with before we cut this thing and let you get it back to your life?
Just stay well, stay safe, and look in the group. A lot of the stuff is posted. Hashtag Biker Nurse Icy or Nurse Nichols the Biker. We've put a lot of content out there, so go and look in the group. There's a lot of good information in the group about everything.
Sure is.
Never ride alone. Yeah, get somebody on the phone if they're not with you. That's exactly right. That's good advice.
Hey, facts. She's our favorite nurse, Nurse Tiffany, aka the biker nurse. There we go. And Icy. So let's do this real quick for her. Man, if nobody's told you, I'm telling you now, you are valuable to our motorcycle riding community. This information that you bring on to us, it never gets old. It never gets old. This is what we need to hear in order for us to continue to ride safely and ultimately to leave and get back home to our families safe and sound, man. So you're doing God's work. I'm just saying that, Nurse Tiffany. You're doing God's work. And I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much.
Appreciate the platform. Thank you.
We'll see you soon. Take care. God bless. Thank
All right.
you.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this your man Kodak, the most hated, coming to you live from the Iron Elite Podcast with my man, Big Sarge, where we always keep it motorcycle. Don't forget to like.
I know what you're getting ready to say. Hey, Sarge, why you always have to play all that slow music? Man, I know I can't help it, man. But that fast rap music y'all listen to today give me heart murmurs. But hey, man, it's the Iron Elite Podcast show where we keep it motorcycling, you dig? I know. But Sarge, that's too far to ride on a motorcycle. But Sarge, what if your back get tired? Well, Sarge, what if I get lost? Once again, thank you everybody for tuning in to the Iron Elite Podcast show today. Very, very important subject today. Hopefully you guys got a lot from it. I know I did. Thank you again to Nurse Tiffany. Thank you again to Carl for sharing his story with us to make us better motorcycle riders, to make us more informed motorcycle riders. Hopefully you guys like what you heard today as far as the show. We're going to try to bring more and more responsible content to the platform to keep us safe, to make us better motorcycle riders. I know a lot of times we don't want to talk about these particular issues and these particular things, but they're so important. They're so important. So I appreciate them again. I appreciate you guys for tuning in today for the show. More to come. Just going to also say lastly, Saturday, June the 8th, the 200th patch ceremony, anniversary ceremony, will be at Adamak Harley-Davidson, Jacksonville, Florida, the Bay Metals dealership. If you're close in the area, if you have time, please feel free to come join us. We're going to be on the second deck, and we're just going to be celebrating and oh, by the way, I know you're going to say, Sarge, but it's been so many Yes, it has been. You guys have been riding like it's nobody's business, but we'll be catching this thing up, and we'll be doing it as anniversary. And oh, by the way, we're working on now having a place, a local establishment that we'll be going to break bread and to socialize and to network after the event is over. It'll be more to come on that, information on that, but we will be going to a local establishment after the anniversary ceremony is over and breaking bread and fellowship and that type of stuff. So more to come on that. Also, for my guys, Cycle Knights that are coming in from the Panhandle today, safe pounding, fellas. We'll see you here in Jacksonville this evening. We'll be launching those guys out at the beginning of their I-10 to the end tomorrow morning, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and ready to go. And for people that are getting ready to launch and make this ride, please feel free to go back through all the shows, all the information that's been posted on the Iron Elite Home of the Ground Pounders reunion page, and just go and review those things and just go and check it twice just to make sure that there's nothing you forgot as far as preparing for your ride. So I think that's about all. I don't think we have anything else. Just thank you for everybody who supports the platform, who's subscribed to the platform, who've shared the platform with a friend. Thank you guys so much. We're just going to get better. We just are starting right now. This thing is going to go, and it's going to get stronger and bigger than ever. And it's because of the support that you guys are giving us. So again, that's all I have. More to come. For those who would like to register for the I-10 to the end, the social experiment, the coast to coast ride, we have a link. I'm going to start after every show. I'm going to put the link in the description of the YouTube show, as well as is in the featured section of the Iron Elite Home of the Ground Pounders reunion page. If you still can't find it, just reach out to me, inbox me, text me, or whatever, and I'll shoot it to you. No problem at all. If you follow that link, it will answer, I guarantee you, 99.9% of any questions that you would have about the ride. Everything is self-explanatory in it. There's a YouTube video that goes with it that's also a tutorial. So look forward to riders that would like to go ahead and register for the ride and do the ride. It works best if you register at least at a minimum of 30 days out. It helps us better with scheduling and planning. If we can't get you, or for some reason we can't get you 30 days out, I will accept last minute registrations because I understand life happens, but it gives me the best opportunity for scheduling you and being there for your ride. I will accept any rides less than 30, but 30 is the optimal time, or you can go farther past 30. So hopefully that helps you guys with that. Don't forget the Titan Award nominations. We're getting to the summer. Don't wait to the last minute to go ahead and get your nominations in. So with that being said, in the meantime and in between time, let's keep it motorcycling, you dig? Peace.